Everybody. So welcome to Tuesday night Kali Maa Studies. I am Christy Smurl, or spiritually, my name is Kalavati Devi, and we've been meeting every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Coast time to study the names and forms of Kali Maa from the Kali Sahasranama. So I had a couple questions this week, and I wanted to first address one of the questions. One of the questions was, how do I know whether or not the S is spelt, pronounced S or Sh? So without going into a long, detailed conversation and entire, multi-week course on the Sanskrit alphabet, each week I post the names in the description. And if you look closely at the names, if we just take the S, for example, because that's what the question was, you'll see some S's have a line, a little mark above them. Some S's have a dot underneath, and some are plain. So an S with no marking is like sip or say. Whereas an S with the marking underneath it is more like shell or shave. So it's an SH sound. Whereas the S with the marking above it, and we won't go into what all the names of the markings are, that's more like sh. So there's actually 3 S's in the Sanskrit language. And there's 3 different tongue placements. So there's the tongue retroflexed further back, sh. The tongue retroflexed but less retroflexed, sh. And non-retroflexed, s. So there's s, sh, sh, s, sh, sh. So I hope that answers some questions. So before we start our names and forms tonight, let's go ahead and make some nice, beautiful shielding energy around us, clear our minds and clear the space, and cast a circle with 3 clearing, cleansing, empowering ohms. And then, of course, we always give reverence to Ganesha before we start studying the mother. Bring your hands to heart center. Take a nice deep breath in. Second time. And a third time. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Ekadantaya Vimahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dantihi Prachodayāt. Om Namo Bhagavate Ekatamsraya Hastumakai Lambodaraya Uchistamahatmane Om Krom Brim Ke Swaha. Sema. All right, so tonight we are now on verse 13. And tonight we're going to be going over Kali Maa's names and forms 88 through 93. So if you ever want to follow along or write out the names or see the names, I always put them in the description. And I have the proper diagrammatical markings as well. We were talking in the very beginning of what's the difference between S and Sh and the 3 S forms in the Sanskrit alphabet. And so I always make sure to include those markings. So let's look at the verse for tonight. It is Aṭṭahāsaprasannāsyā, Aṭṭahāsaprasannāsyā, smeravaktrā subhāṣiṇī, prasannapadmavadanā, smitāsyā priyabhāṣiṇī. So we're going to look at each one individually. And as I've said in other classes, you can always get a Kali Puja book, and they'll usually have the names listed and then a one-line description. But each of these, we're going into a much deeper exploration of each name. Good evening, Marvin. Thank you for joining. All right, so the first name, Aṭṭahāsaprasannāsyā, all one word. So when we look at the puja books, this means she who has a great laugh in extreme pleasure. Aṭṭahāsa means loud, boisterous, resonant, or a roaring laugh that's associated with divine power and fierce joy. Prasanna means bright, cheerful, or gracious, and asya is face or mouth. So this name is the form of Kali Maa that has a big, boisterous expression and laugh. So I pulled out a couple images to share tonight, and this is one of the pictures that I drew that reminds me of this name, a very boisterous expression, and I could just imagine her laughing very boisterously. Chema. All right, name 89, smeravaktrā, smeravaktrā. Good evening, Liberty. Oh, Pixel, crazy. Maybe sometimes crazy for Kali Maa. All right, so smeravaktrā, she who speaks words of remembrance. Smira means smiling or blooming and expanded. And vaktra is face or mouth. So all of the names tonight have to do with her mouth, her expression. And so smeravaktrā also means she who has a welcoming, smiling countenance. And it also is the expression of great joy and wisdom. Name number 90, subhāṣiṇī, subhāṣiṇī. So if you look at the description, you'll see the different S forms. And we talked at the beginning of the video, the different ways of pronouncing. Is it S, is it S, sh, or is it S, sh? 3 different sounds. So subhāṣiṇī is she who has an excellent expression, and subha means very splendid, very auspicious, and bāsh is speech. So it's not just facial expression, it's speech expression. So subhāṣiṇī also means she who speaks radiantly, correct, sweet words. And subhāṣiṇī also is known as the form of Kali Maa who has eloquent speech. Subhāṣiṇī. Now, name 91, it's a very long name. Prasannapadmavadanā. And this means she whose lotus lips smile. So if we look at that word and break down all of the individual components, prasanna means delightful, blissful. Padma is lotus, and vadana is face. So she whose face is full of bliss. Jema, Jema. And prasannapadmavadanā is the gentle, happy form of Kali Maa, Devi Maa. So I picked a couple pictures because we'll go through these words pretty quickly tonight. And this is one of the other images that I picked to share. I drew this several years ago, and I just felt that the expression was very soft and gentle, as well as blissful. Tema. Good evening, Louis. What's going on here? Oh, we are going over the 1,000 names of Kali Maa. All right, name 92, smitāsyā, smitāsyā. And this means she whose face is always happy. Smita means smiling or laughing, and asya is face or mouth. And I found this name. It occurs in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:37-16. And the word smitāsyā is used while referencing to Radhama looking at Krishna from the side of her eyes. And I found a third picture that I wanted to share tonight. This one I drew many years ago. And it's that gentle, happy expression while gazing at Krishna. But this isn't Radhama, it's Kali Maa, as you can tell, because her tongue is out. Anyways, all right. Name 93. That's the last name for tonight. Each of these classes, we're only doing one verse at a time. And sometimes it's only about 15 minutes. Sometimes it's 30 minutes. It depends on how complicated the names are. So the last name for tonight, name 93. Priyabhāṣiṇī. Priyabhāṣiṇī. And priyabhāṣiṇī means she who's the expression of love. And priya means beloved or lovely or very, very dear. And bhāṣiṇī means speaker. So it's not just her expression of love and lovingness, but it's also her speech. So the form of Kali Maa, priyabhāṣiṇī, who speaks kindly, affectionately, and with loving charm. Somebody asked, what inspired you to do this? And I'm going to mention, a lot of people really misunderstand Kali Maa. This is one of the main images that most people see. And, it's got all of this iconography. And there's so much more to Kali Maa than the limited view of her ferociousness or viciousness with the, human skull and the bloody head and the knife and the trident. So when we look at, let's say, tonight's names and forms, Nama Rupa, we see priyabhāṣiṇī, the one who has an expression and word expression of love and lovingness. Smitāsyā, her face is very happy and loving. And she who has a beautiful smile, a loving, blissful smile. A lot of times we see pictures of Kali Maa and she's like, fangs hanging out and tongue sticking out and blood dripping from her chin. And people are like, oh no, it's too much for me. But that's just the tiniest tip of the iceberg of who Kali Maa is. So we have a couple questions. Which puja book? I shared it last week. Let me grab it again real quick. There's lots available. The one that I've been using for several years now is this Kali book. It's Kali Puja, so it has all 1,008 names in it. And one of the things that inspired me to do this every week, first of all, Kali Maa is my Ishta Devata. I absolutely love Kali Maa. She's like in my blood and in my bones. And when I would read the puja book, being fairly well versed in Sanskrit because I studied Ayurveda, got my doctorate degree in Ayurveda, so we study a lot of Sanskrit names. And as I was looking at the puja book, I was like, Like that name means more than that one-liner description. And so I started going into all the different names and going deeper into the meanings, because I'm just always interested in knowing and learning more about Kali Maa, whether it be from my Tantra teacher, from my Ayurveda teachers, or from my Guru. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed these names tonight, and I hope that you can see and embrace forms of Kali Maa with her beautiful, happy expression, her smiling face, her loving words, and come in contact with maybe a completely different side of the Holy Mother. So I'll be back next Tuesday, 6 o'clock Pacific Coast time. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe. So when I pop on live every Tuesday, you get a notification and you can join in. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. And I will see everybody next Tuesday. Kali Maa.